The dancers are here.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. And I believe Matt is on the call too. Hello.
I
Oh, where's Matt?
I'll let you guys talk though. I'm sure Renee will be jumping on. I think she had some problems getting the right link.
Hi, everybody. I'm Quincy Ellis, and
I'm Marlon Felice.
I'm Paul Leo. And we're three of the dancers for Pilobolus. Two of us are in the piece.
Yes.
And this is our artistic director, Matt Kent, co-artistic director.
Yes. And we're in a little
Everybody hop
COVID
on.
pod living together, which is why we can safely be unmasked together.
The piece that we did tonight was actually from, Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, 1974?
I believe it is 75.
Okay.
And yes, and it was choreographed by Allison Chase and Moses Pendleton. The costumes were done by Malcolm McCoy, and the music was Robert Dennis, who's written lots of work with us. I wanted to make sure we put out that credit because I think there was it was omitted from the video, so I wanted to make sure that we gave credit where credit is due. And there's Renee popping on right now. It's a very old piece. It's one of the first. It's Allison and Moses did 2 duets and that of note that was the first of them. So it was one of the very first sort of Pilobolus pieces. The company had just gone from whatever it was to a company.
Hi, Renee. Hi, Renee.
I had to get some mood lighting.
Love it, love it.
Perfect lighting.
Thank you, Renee. We're just doing introductions. We actually started with you guys.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry, I'm late. I just finished
No,
my room. I didn't realize.
No, it's perfect. So we have choreographers and many of the audience members here, and I just kind of posed the question. I know this is a piece that you restaged, and still I was sort of wondering about that process that you went through of rehearsal and performance, sort of in the kind of reinventing, something that, is part of your repertoire. I know you guys are in a pod, and that certainly helped in the rehearsals. That was sort of my prompt that I gave you guys to start.
Great. Well, I think that the dancers can probably, I don't want to throw you on the spot here, but I think that it's like, the piece was made in 1975 on very different bodies from the 2 bodies that you saw perform it. And I always think that it's super interesting to hear from a dancer's perspective when you take movement that was not made for your body type and you then do it. And body type and personality. I do want to add that too, because I think a lot of this has to do with the way that people interact on stage. And that's really what you see along with the bodies. So I would, love to hear from you guys how that process was to kind of think about this as a historical piece, but also bring it into your own bodies and into your own personalities and make it relevant for you.
And we should say, Renee, also that Paul is also learned this duet in the same time. So you can speak from the position of learning it and performing it and not just watching and holding the camera, which he also did lots of.
Yes, I did. Thankfully.
I mean, I would say that it's still in terms of this piece, it's still very much in process. The video that you guys saw this evening was shot a week after we learned it.
Yeah, like about a week after we learned it.
Yeah, so it's still very fresh for us in terms of the
We threw them into the fire.
Yeah, the fire. And for in terms of body type, Allison and Moses are very long humans, like long legs, which I do not possess.
Me neither.
So it is,
Quincy and I are both just like long torsoed, short-legged folks.
I feel like when we do just learning an old rep piece, it's kind of just about, you kind of let that go. There were certain things that I definitely pushed to do physically, but also it's mostly just about learning how to do the piece with your partner.
Yeah, it's
That's
like
the most important part.
finding the mechanics first, just so that you can actually move through it. And then I think from that place, you can really start to interpret it, I think, through transitions. A lot of, I think, finding an intention in a piece for me happens through in finding the connecting dots between those sort of more mechanical moves and such. So that's definitely an ongoing process. And that's something we have to create for ourselves. Like Quincy and I are just going to have our own relationship in the piece that we have to develop just by doing it and learning how to relate to each other. And it's going to be different from the creators, and that's okay, as long as I think it feels honest.
Yeah, and we're still working on it too. So.
And I think that you guys approach it as an experience every time you do it. You know, I would say that in the learning process and in the performance process, that it becomes a new experience every time you do it, because that's kind of the philosophy of our performances.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, guys. I'm gonna, please stay around for questions. We're gonna jump into the next introduction, but we'll definitely be coming back to you guys.
Great.
All right, Imix. I don't know, Lindsay or who's going to be talking?
I'll be yours.
Okay.
Yeah, there are 6 of us. 5 of us are on tonight. Myself, Alita, Shelly, Megan, and Lindsay. And Tessa's unfortunately not able because she's in another rehearsal tonight to be with us. But we are Imix Dance Project. We all co-artistic direct. This piece kind of came out of a moment to try something different. We've done 5x5 for many years, both as a company and a lot of us as dancers for other companies. And we said, what if we do something really fun and exciting? And what if we dance in the snow? And I honestly, when I first went out and filmed, it was like the most blizzard day ever. And I thought my film was awful. And my camera kept falling in the snow and the world was a nightmare. And I was so angry. And then when I watched the film and everyone sent me their clips, I was like, wow, this actually is really stunning. Like just the backdrop of the whole snowscape and the idea of, kind of the wind blowing the snow and us moving. We filmed solo-y. That's a new one. We moved as solos first. We filmed all this material and then we ended up taking time in quarantine and taking tests and then getting together and filming outside. And then the stuff that we created after being inspired from our solo clips, and then just the fun process of putting it all together and something that matched. The Grand Brothers provided their music for us. We're really grateful for them. It's just a fun collaboration for all of us, something different and unique. And lots of us have done site-specific work in the past, but never on film. So definitely exciting. Something new.
Yeah, thank you. That was great. It was beautiful. It was really beautiful.
Thanks.
Stay around. We're just going to go through introductions, but I know people have questions to ask. All right, so Central is next. Abby, are you here?
Yes. Hi, how are you?
Hi, as a student choreographer.
Yes. So my name is Abby. I choreographed the third to last piece titled L'Envent, and I am part of CCSU's dance company, Dance Central. This piece was filmed last semester, so we actually had to hold all of our rehearsals completely virtual. We did not meet in person, not even once. All the dancers were responsible for videotaping themselves, and I gave them different parameters of where I wanted them to film. If I wanted them to film from different angles, and I wanted to approach it as more of like a dance film instead of just filming choreography. So it was definitely a challenge, but it helped me grow a lot as a dancer, and I edited the whole thing myself. So I learned a lot about iMovie. But yes, thank you for having us.
Thank you for being here, and stay around if you can, because I'm sure people have questions.
Absolutely.
All right, let's Megan, MD Dance Theater. Megan and Luca.
Partial perspectives, we traveled over to Gardiner, New York. There's a really beautiful park there, and we've been fascinated with that wall for years. When COVID happened, we took the leap and we brought all of our equipment over there and we set up our shots with that park. And Luca and I are married, so we don't have any issues in that regard. But what we were doing in terms of being mindful of pandemic and social distancing and the effects of making work during this time was we were getting ready to work with some new dancers. So we discussed improvisational structures with one another that would also work once we brought some other dancers on, so that we could dance all together, socially distanced and safely. And so some of the dance structures that happened in that piece were exploring that. That's it.
All right, thank you, thank you. Good, I can't wait to hear questions about, I'd love the backdrop of that piece. I can see why you chose that spot. That was great. All right, thank you guys. University of Hartford is good here. I'm not sure, maybe she's not here. If she's here, she'll jump in after. Sonia and Richard.
Hi. So, yes, I'm Sonia Plum. I am artistic director of Sonia Plum Dance Company, but this is a personal project. I want to emphasize that because I do a lot of work outside of the company, which influences. I think in response to Susan's question about how did this change things, I want to, there's lots of stories, but one of the first things when the pandemic hit was, how am I going to get through this? We have been told we cannot touch. We are dancers. I'm a choreographer. I touch for a living. We humans touch. And so I reached out, well, man, I could go on forever. But anyways, Richard's based in London. We've been dancing. He danced for us here in the States back in 2018. And I reached out to him and said, I need to create this dance. Here are the tasks. Will you do this? And so I created the choreography. I created tasks. He went off of that. The composer is from South Africa. So it was an international experience. And I think out of COVID, I got to perform internationally. The work is seen the first time on film, how to edit and all of that, and looking into the camera and still performing. That day that I had to perform, which I'll go into later, but I treated it like a performance. I got my robe on, I did my warm-ups, I got my makeup on, and there it was. And I looked into the green dot. So I don't know, I can't wait to share more, but that's my story.
Thank you, Sonia. River Valley Dance Project. Lynalyn, are you here?
Hi, I'm Lynalyn. I'm the director of River Valley Dance Project. So I will say that the difference for me than anything, because I've done a lot of site-specific work, and that's sort of my MO. Like, I really have been trying to do site-specific work for a long time. So that wasn't so different for me, but I've never done it in like, here's all this choreography virtually, and then been like, in a space that I've never been before, because I actually trekked out to the woods and found a spot and then tried to go back and find it when the dancers were with me. I couldn't find it. So it was like we reinvented the space that day. So that was the biggest difference, was trying to teach choreography virtually and then being in a space that you've never been in before, and trying to make it work. But it was a great experience, and it was our first time together as a group, like for months. So I hope that it read that like we were actually like really overjoyed to just be together and in space together. It was pretty great. And just a side fact, like I've never in my life trekked into the woods with rakes, because we had to like rake out spots so that we could find a spot to do something and not trip. So it was pretty unusual, but it was great.
I love that with rakes, what we won't do, right, for our dance space. All right, thank you. Eastern, Erin.
Hi, I choreographed Natural Woman for Eastern. We had the opportunity to dance all together in our space last semester, which we're really lucky and fortunate to have. So mostly it just came out of the desire to all dance together again in the same space. And it was really awesome. We really enjoyed it and we're really happy to show you all.
Thank you, Erin. Good job. All right, New England Ballet Theater.
Hi.
Hey, Emily.
Hello. My name is Emily Rosada. Hello. My name is Emily Rosada. I'm one of the co-founder and artistic directors of New England Ballet Theater. And I created the piece in collaboration with Jeff Holcomb. He shot and edited it, and basically he's a really great photographer that we've gotten to know over the past couple years. And I was like, Jeff, I have to get out there. I have to start making, I have to start dancing. I have to do something. And we went out and I just danced. I was basically just outside frolicking around the West Hartford Reservoir. And we got some of the other dancers from New England Ballet Theater to come and dance with us. And it was really just kind of just breaking out of, it was like last June that we did this. So it was really breaking out of like being kind of locked inside for so long, and dancing outside. And then at that very end, coming together and dancing together in the studio again. So that's kind of the story of the piece.
Nice. Kind of full circle there, right?
Yeah.
All right, St. Joe's. Nicole, are you here?
I'm here.
Yay.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nikki Aquavia, and I'm the president of the USJ Dance Ensemble. And I choreographed the piece, The Mysteries Among Us. And so this piece was based on a piece of American literature by Nathaniel Hawthorne. And it was based on a short story called Young Goodman Brown. And so basically in this story, what happens is the main character goes out into the forest and he sees all of his like loved ones taking part in witchcraft. So this was like during the Salem witchcraft era. And so he sees all of these people and he like becomes super upset. And so this whole piece was kind of representing that story and like good versus evil. So yeah, we had a lot of fun creating it. We did it in about 3 rehearsals, I think it was. But it definitely redefined choreographing for me a lot, because especially having such a short time frame and having COVID as, another challenge, it was definitely different. Another thing I want to say is that we took some inspiration with the sheet that we used from Pilabolus. We were really fortunate to work with them in the fall semester, and we did some work with the sheet with them. So we kind of wanted to explore that more. So it was just definitely a very different experience for all of us. And we were just so fortunate to be able to have that experience.
Nice. Thank you, Nikki. All right, Ballet Theater Company. Stephanie, are you here? Tracy, did you want to talk for Stephanie? I think so.
Let me get I don't really want to speak for her because she was supposed to be here, and I was just looking to see if she'd sent me some cryptic message, but she didn't. So I wasn't too involved with the process of creating it, but I know that the dancers were freezing to death with the day they filmed it. And it's a piece she's been wanting to do for a very long time. So she's doing it in sections. And actually, we just filmed the spring section of the Vivaldi's Four Seasons this past weekend. So I don't really know what else to say. I can't really speak to her vision.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I know it was a larger piece and we just were able to show one section of it. So
Yeah.
when is it going to premiere the full length piece? Do you know that?
Well, we're showing the spring section, I think May 8th or 9th.
Oh, good.
And
Right.
summer and winter haven't been done yet.
Okay, so we will definitely be looking.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. All right, last but not least is Moxie. Zoe, I know you're here. Hello.
Hi. So we have some of our other dancers here with us tonight. We have Alita Lamagna Kendall, Lisa Fredrickson, and Megan McDermott. This piece came out of a desperation for all of us to dance in a world where we feel very fragmented. As I think many of us can relate to, the last year has been entirely different from our normal lives. In creating this piece, we decided to work with our own individual choreography as well as figure out ways to connect together. But the biggest challenge was actually filming with a 13-hour time difference because one of our dancers, Emma Renaud, is currently living in South Korea. So Emma danced with us a few years ago, and in creating this piece, we decided to reach out to all of our former Moxie members and current members and said, who's interested? And she was like, I want to dance too. So we were like, perfect. I think the biggest challenge was the timing with filming. As we know, learning dance virtually is difficult because you can't see all of the angles of people's bodies the way that you can in the studio. So it does make it extremely challenging. But doing that with a time delay also became quite difficult with the 13-hour time difference. So we did have to kind of figure out those challenges and play around with that, but it was just extremely rewarding to all be able to work together and see each other again, especially having been apart from some of us being apart for a couple of years now. So it was a really nice way to reconnect and just do something that was totally different and what we felt was just kind of fun and weird. This was a good opportunity to do something totally out of our box. So that's how we took this experience, but we were really thankful to be able to do it.
Thank you. Definitely a theme of, wanting to connect and figuring out how to do that in any way, shape, or form. And that certainly showed in all the pieces. So we have a few more minutes left just for questions that you may have for one another, or anybody is welcome. Just jump right in, just unmic yourself and ask a question.
Well, if nobody will talk, I'm very happy to talk.
Thanks, Sonia.
I don't get to talk to anybody these days. No, for real. So, and it's better than just sitting here. So I first want to just say, for Imix, and I don't know that I want the audience to know, and this goes round the board, right? But I'm pointing out at them that us dancers are doing almost everything and exploring boundaries and living with limitations. Do the general audience know how hard it is to dance on a log in second position, go into arabesque with your snow pants on and not fall off the log? I've been doing it at midnight, so my video is coming out soon, which is solo, but I think the audience, I don't think the general public really understands what we are, how creative we are being and how challenging and what we'll go
What we should do is show you the blooper reel.
I was just going to say that. There's a 5-minute blooper reel that goes along with our video. There's a lot of falling. There's a lot of Alita falling.
Oh, I think that might be a whole other dance.
It is a whole other dance.
Yeah.
It was funny. We had put all these extensions in the choreography, and then we put on our snow pants and no one could lift their leg past 90 degrees. And some of us got some decent extension, but it wasn't happening. But there were some pretty funny moments with coats being too tight or people's hands freezing. And when you try to film on a hill and do a fan kick, how hard you fall. Or that last shot where we're falling into the snow looks so beautiful, but if we had turned the sound on, there's a lot of painful grunts and groans afterwards. Because the first time we filmed it, it was powder. And we were like, oh, we'll do it again. It'll be clean snow. Oh, it was like rock. So second time around, when you hit your head on rock, it hurts pretty bad. So Sonia, I understand. You're brave to go out at midnight. Kudos.
I don't know, maybe we need a 5x5 blooper reel,
Oh, that would be great.
starring Emmix, but yeah.
The other funny thing is we, recruited husbands, sisters, friends to film us. And it's all filmed on iPhones, as I'm sure a lot of yours are. But the funniest part is their commentary as we're dancing as non-dancers. And I think Tessa's sister at one point goes, Tessa, is that even dancing? Like, so it's just really funny to see, like, we recruited people to help us. And, we were branching out, doing something that's, outside of our comfort zone, but it was way outside of our friends and family's comfort zone to be filming us. So it was really funny.
Oh, that's great. Renee, I think you're right. I think maybe y'all should you could just take the soundtrack of that and you'd have a new soundtrack. Is that dance? Are you okay? Ugh. Great.
You're not in the
quite
shot.
A few moments.
We could just pass around our blooper reels and then like react to it. It would be fun. Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be fun. Yeah. All right.
And hi, Sonia. It's nice I don't know if you remember me, but my wife, Emily, danced with you years and years ago. And when she was training with Ernestine Stadell, and you did something in Naugatuck or something, I think. And I have this memory of it. I thought it would, I'm sure you don't remember that the night.
You talking to me?
Yeah.
Matt, I've taken intensives with you. So you don't remember me either. I remember you. Oh God.
I didn't know if you remembered that
at Naugatuck?
I don't remember who it was with. I just remember Emily performing and driving out to Naugatuck, and you were there years and years ago.
Yeah, that was a great thing. You're right. I don't remember that.
That was before, I think, the intensives and things like that.
Oh, it was absolutely. It was
yeah,
absolutely.
It was like maybe 99 or something like that.
Oh, cool.
Last century. It was before.
Before what?
Before this century. It was.
I know. Right?
Yeah.
For the Y2K.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Nice. I love these connections in our Connecticut dance community, which is great. All right. Any other questions, thoughts, comments?
Dude, I wanted to ask just the whole group by like their hands, like how many of the pieces that because we brought something that we've been dying to do, which was to do something that we've been working like to get into rep, but how many of the pieces were made for this event? Like I want to go, like I'm going to look in gallery and see how many hands are raised. Were other ones just put in a different place? Like who wasn't like that?
I did this back in May. I was gonna go. So it's actually really interesting.
But it's new. It was still new though, right?
It was new.
Yeah, that's what I
absolutely.
meant.
It was because of COVID.
Created in COVID. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ours was 100% 5x5. What should we do to be something interesting? Actually, 5x5 tends to be kind of our jumping point of many of our pieces, where we premiere them for the first time and then we build upon what we've done. So our piece, Snow Prince, was absolutely just for 5x5 first time it premiered.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Megan, I've seen photos of your piece in other places. Yeah.
Yeah, the piece we made, Partial Perspectives, we did make during August 2020. So it was, we had this opportunity during quarantine where Luca and I are never in the same place together unless we're feeding dinner to our son, because we're also busy with our families and our work lives. But during the lockdown, we had ample time to make work, and Luca and I have made work together for about 17 years. So we just rushed off to this beautiful park in Gardiner, New York, and took that took advantage of the time we had to make that piece. And we had that piece shown at the Hartford Fringe Festival. And then we've been also sharing this video, Partial Perspectives, with beyond Connecticut, submitting it to some screen dance festivals. So
Right on, cool. I love the big reveal when you see what the border is and that it's actually this mural. It was cool.
yeah, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah,
Rebecca?
Megan found that wall, and it's just the racquetball wall or something. It's in the middle of like almost like nowhere. And then, but it used to be just a really brand white wall, and we wanted to have that kind of like a rough edge, kind of industrial look. And then we went and like, whoa, it's different. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, they did that whole mural, and then it just kind of became a part of piece.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so you thought it was going to be like, oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, we thought it was just gonna be a rough concrete gray wall. And when we arrived, it had this beautiful new mural on it. So we had to
Here, we weren't expecting it to be. Oh, that's so. Oh my God, that's great. That's priceless.
But it's interesting because I don't think any of us expected it to be that either. Like when you revealed it, like I went, whoa. And I think, it's kind of cool because we had the same probably experience that you did.
Nice.
I would like to give a shout out to Central. I just thought filming outside, and I thought they made a really nice composition. I don't have my notes in front of me, but between how they filmed and how they put it together, I was just really, really impressed by that. And I also, I think we've all, for the most part, we've been dancing. Most of us have been dancing outside so that we can dance, right? The Marley is rare, a rare luxury at this point. And I think taking advantage of that and figuring out, again, River Valley Dance and all of that, it brings another creative element that isn't found in the typical under the lights controlled environment. And I think it's just opening up, new possibilities. So just a shout out.
Yeah, no, thank you, Sonia. I'm going to speaking about outdoor pieces. I know Stephanie, you just jumped in. I saw you. Do you want to talk about Ballet Theater Company's piece? I know that was also filmed outside.
Sure. So I think for me, one of the exciting parts about being outside was kind of taking the normal backdrop in a scenic on stage and really making it authentic. And we were fortunate to have a friend who has this, as you saw, beautiful estate, which when we arrived, we were just kind of also like blown away by what we were looking at. And I think for everybody who's been outside, when you're used to Marley, especially for ballet, I mean, being on uneven ground and having an idea of what the choreography is and then having to change it. Roman actually, in one of the takes, he slipped and sprained his ankle. And like took like 20 minutes to recover, and then we kept filming. But yeah, I think the outdoors for me, it was, you were able to take that atmosphere and the environment and really breathe it in and really have it part of your movement quality. The dancers could really relate to where they were instead of having, like Sonia said, on a controlled stage, lights, the environment is what we know. So it made it difficult in the sense of, against Mother Nature, which you're never sure if you're going to have rain, shine, snow, etc. But for us, we lucked out with a beautiful, gorgeous day, and the dancers were very thrilled to be there, and we were able to continue sharing our craft and doing what we all want to be doing in times that was, unfortunate. And I don't know what else to say other than the experience for us was just a great day. I mean, it was just a beautiful day to be outside and dancing. And I'm a huge Vivaldi fan. I've always wanted to choreograph to his entire 4 seasons. So to have the opportunity to do that with an outdoor landscape of what it was kind of the icing on the cake. So, and having Roman with us was pretty spectacular because the caliber of who he is and the energy that he brought was really, really special.
Yeah.
So
thanks, Stephanie.
Yeah. And hi, everyone. I loved everybody's pieces. I kind of had to catch it later. So I'm sorry that I jumped down, but I wanted to be able to see everybody's before I got onto Zoom in case, it was a heated discussion and I could add to the fire. So
I know I had the same feeling. I was like, I got to make sure I do my studying so I can respond properly.
Exactly. But I am actually curious. So I don't know if there was a discussion about the piece outdoors in the snow, but just for somebody who's hiked in snow, dancing in snow, I was just like, whoa, what was that like?
Amusing. No, it was great. It made you make different choices than we would have done if we were on stage, because we knew we had to be apart from each other, but we also had to think wisely. I was saying before about our extensions, which weren't going to happen in snow pants, or, even a second position plie, if you're wearing a tight coat, is hysterical, because you just can't make it happen. But that was the fun and exciting part. Those challenges make it more interesting and unique too. If I can't do something, how can I work around that? So definitely fun, definitely worth doing.
But I also think all those things you just mentioned are relatable without snow pants and a coat. So
that's possible too.
It rings true in every case.
Absolutely.
Christine, I have to ask you a question.
Sure.
Who's your guy that's creeping in on the corner? I gotta know.
Oh, that's my boyfriend. He's enjoying this.
Get in or out, man. Pick aside. Either get in with Christine, or just inch over. I'm seeing that
I know, I'm sort of curious to know when it's
I'm closer. There you go. All right. Now it's a family affair.
It's a family affair now.
I thought it was fun. I was thinking the same thing with your snow pants. That's why Palabras, we often don't wear pants at all.
Yeah. It does help. Good solution. Flexibility.
Even in the snow.
Yeah.
We weren't that brave. We got lucky on some of the weather days, but man, there was one day it was really cold.
Quincy, do you want to tell Christine about remember when we were in Bethany and we were doing that snow shoot where we were trying to get photos of you guys, and it was great because they would kill it and they just look great. But I had the behind the scenes footage where you would see they're holding everyone and they're completely they're all totally naked and it's snowing on them. And then we're like, okay, we got it. And they're like, oh my God. And then they do the funny dance all the way back to their shoes. It was great.
Oh yeah, that was definitely our day.
That's one thing with his pictures is different when I feel like you're dancing. The snow and also just ballet technique on uneven ground for that, Stephanie, for that entire piece, the three of us were like, I can't believe they're doing this. They're doing that. That's crazy.
Spinning and promenading.
Yeah.
Penchés.
How are they doing that?
I would know. I could.
A lot of takes.
And what happened with the ballet shoes afterwards? How muddy were they?
I think Emily, who was in the piece, is on here, but luckily for that filming, it was a nice day and the ground was pretty good. She could probably say otherwise. I'm just kind of in the corner, staging, directing, but we had one day, the second piece that wasn't part of 5x5, and it was freezing and we were by a pond and the ground was soaking wet. So in between takes, there was a little cabin there and they had their feet up by a fire that was inside. But I don't know, Emily, there you are. Do you have anything as the dancer? Do you want to comment on that?
Yeah, sure. So like Stephanie said, the section with Roman and I, we really lucked out. We had some nice sunshine. It was a reasonable temperature. My shoes are definitely dirty. I would obviously never wear them in a studio again. But it wasn't nearly like that other section where the weather was a little bit colder, the ground was wet, and the dancers were pretty cold. So, that just kind of goes to show one day compared to the next, even at the same location,
you never know what you're going to run into. We definitely got really, really lucky with the
like your
gig we
hiking
filmed,
valley shoes.
our section.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's $1 million idea.
Yeah. Well, guys, we just have time maybe for a couple more questions. I feel like we could just go on and on, which is great. I just appreciate so much that one of my questions was the challenges, and you guys certainly, you know, between snow and dancing outside and, you know, we've all certainly had our challenges. And, you know, when I saw all these pieces as we were putting it together, you know, I don't know, it just made me so happy thinking, you know, here's our Connecticut dance community and we're in the middle of a pandemic and, you know, look at what's happening. It was, I don't know, just really heartwarming and wonderful to see it all. And I kind of wanted to ask you guys, as you know, next year, as I mentioned, or well, actually still this year, fall of 2021 is our 20th anniversary. And, you know, we don't really know what it's going to look like yet. Are we going to have a live audience? Are we going to have a partial audience and maybe live stream? You know, sort of looking at that. What do you think about this new, you know, world with these dance films? Is it here to stay? Is it something you're thinking about keeping in your repertoire, part of your performance? I'm just curious to hear what people are thinking for the future.
I think for IMIX, we're definitely, you know, it was a stretch for us to do it, but I think we really enjoyed doing it. And we're gonna try to see how we can incorporate video even into stage performance as well, and kind of you know, we all realize, I'm sure, that we have to be ready for anything, right? So if we can have, you know, be adaptable, I think we've learned that that's really important. So I think we'll continue to kind of do both.
I'll just say for River Valley Dance Project, I'm certain that we are going to continue. And it actually made me realize how important to start teaching too, like students, about how to film, that it's totally making me think of a whole curriculum to start trying to educate, you know, the next generation to be ready to like how to really get their message of what they want across through film. Maybe even just using an iPhone is fine. So that's that. But I did want to also plug really quickly, when Susan, you were talking about just like the general vibe of like, this is our community. There was in the beginning, it sort of set the tone for me for the whole evening in Moxie's piece of just like this slow smile. And that's exactly like when everybody came together, there's joy in all of these pieces. That is just, I think this whole pandemic has its shadow, but there's the light, and that's so important to me. And that my piece was all about that for me, and for that piece, that there's that, like we have so much more grateful now for just the time that we can be creating, because creating is a luxury, right? We don't, this is extra. This is not necessity. So, so that's really awesome. And just thanks, Susan, for hosting this. So.
Thank you, Lila. Well said.
I'll say for New England Ballet Theater that we've had a great time working with videographers and filmmakers to create these pieces, and it's definitely something that we're going to keep doing. It's just another way to show people that dance is like more than just going to a theater and like watching people move around on stage. It's like we're actually telling a story, and we're trying to communicate to you like a story and something important most of the time. So that's what I'd like to say.
Can I jump in? Yes. I always forget the proper Zoom etiquette. It's been a while.
Yeah, jump in. We're in for
I think too, what I've really enjoyed, I mean, I think we all can relate to having no time for anything because we're constantly creating or in the studio or working on our craft. So I've loved having the opportunity to catch fellow colleagues that now live across the way, that I can check out their work and actually be able to enjoy it. And then similarly, I have, you know, family who can't come to every show and probably wouldn't anyway if they were asked. So the accessibility of being able to tune into something that is so accessible to everybody now is, I think, such a silver lining through all of this. And then similarly to River Valley, I mean, creating for film is it is completely different than creating for stage. And learning the filming etiquette of what is a long shot versus a panning to a scanning to, there's all this language similarly to our language of dance that's so important. And I think for Ballet Theater Company, if we continue on this path, similarly, we need to learn more about the process so that we're also honoring the artist who's behind the lens, because video filming is also such a craft. And I think when you see something filmed, you forget that element because you're watching this beautiful dance. So for us, I'm actually really excited to see where film takes dance and the environment of dance, and it's constantly changing. So yeah, I guess that's not really just a comment, just my own personal, but I've enjoyed this virtual platform. I miss the theater, but I enjoy having the accessibility.
Yeah, good, thank you.
I'll jump in. Am I unmuted?
Yes.
Wait.
You're good.
So I have been looking in dance on video and film for a couple of years, even before the pandemic. And I think it's going to be really interesting because it's very different to create a dance for film versus dance with film. And I think it's a whole nother art form. And I think it's definitely going to give it's already giving accessibility, but it's another genre on its own. So that's my take. And I think it's just opening up a whole new creative world. Yeah.
Good, thank you. So I sort of wanted to end, I don't know if Plavlis, Matt or Renee, you have any thoughts or comments in that? You guys have a little more experience in that world. Anything you could share with us out here on?
Well, I think I agree with what everybody said in terms of educating students and making sure that everybody has a full understanding of everything that goes into dance on film and how different it is than dance in the theater. Because it is. I think some people think that you can just sort of take what you put on stage and film it and it'll have the same impact, but it doesn't. And you have to think about it differently. So, and I think that what everybody's saying, I know Matt and I have had those conversations, and it's super important.
Plus, Renee, you and I've talked a lot about how, and I thought you guys did such a great job. I loved all these outdoor pieces.
Yeah.
Because don't forget about all the things you can do on film that you cannot do on the stage. That somebody was even saying it. I don't remember who, even in this conversation, I think like we always joke, we're like, oh, look, it's the lighting that our lighting designers try to make happen in the theater. It's happening.
But it's the sun. And it's happening and it's free.
Yeah. When you were kicking up the snow, I said, I love any idea. Emily was peeking in here and I said, who's our education director, but we live together. So she's like dealing with the kids but she kept kind of sneaking in and look and I said, anything that you'd have to pay thousands of dollars to get the fake version of in the theater that they're doing for reals is I'm totally into. I'm just look, it's real snow and they're wearing real snow pants because they're cold. It's like real people would do this. And I love that kind of thing. So I think it's really important. The other thing I think that I want to mention, I don't know, Renee, if this is totally, I hope I'm not going off the rails a little bit, but not just the filming, but this community that we're having now. Why the hell does it take a global pandemic to get people on all these different ways of communicating with different audiences to just sit on a Zoom call and look at each other's work for a second? I really would like for Susan, you to continue to connect us and, it just seems like it would be so cool to be here, hey, because Renee and I love to show stuff that's not baked yet. We love to show things that is in process to other artists because we'd rather show you guys before we show critics because they suck, and it's we just want to be with people that are like, oh, you know, and I just keep thinking in this time, like it's weird because Renee, I think you said this, like we're so unbound by time and space in a strange way because we're watching this thing and like you and Stephanie were like a little behind us even in this reality but now we're all talking, you know, but yet we're also like more regional right now because we all are basically close to each other. Like if we had to, we could come help each other move if we had to, if like no one else was available and you had a truck. So, or the Palabras van or something. So I'm just saying, that's my plea, that we keep doing this and build that community that I think, you know, Palabras came out of this 70s kind of community of like, we were actually in the beginning, before Palabras was a dance company, it was just like a collective of people who wanted to make stuff together. And I don't see any reason that we can't kind of, you know, have different shells of that. And I loved seeing all of your work and it was so much fun. And thank you, Susan, for inviting us. And I know I cut Renee off, so she might want to say something, or maybe, I don't know, maybe we're just doing our duet thing.
Just our banter, dude. It's just our banter.
All right. So Matt, so now we know there is a Palabras van in case anybody has to move. You have
yes, there is. It's a
I'm just making
minivan,
sure.
but it is a van. The seats fold down. You can fit lots of stuff in it.
Here's the thing. It's like that scene with Mark, like, but one day I'm gonna come and ask you a favor. That day may not be tomorrow. It's gonna be like that. That's what's gonna happen if you use the van. I'll be like, hey, I need some really muddy.
Yeah, you can now officially say that you know a guy. I need a van. I know a guy.
Well, we hope you guys are back for our 20th anniversary coming up. We will let you guys know because yes, our Connecticut dance community is fantastic and wonderful, and the sharing of ideas. I love it in the Zoom, but I'll love it more if we can actually be here in the theater in the fall. We'll just see what happens. But they are trying to kick me out of here, so I am going to say goodnight.
Okay.
I think I'm the only person on campus right now.
Security's like.
Can we just like all do something as dancers as we say goodbye to Susan, like a in the camera wave or some kind of like.
Yeah, we gotta all do this. Like,
yeah, maybe you guys could stay. I'll just leave. I don't know, but
we're all gonna bail out at the same time.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody, for your support. Thank you. Good night. Good night. Good night. Bye, everybody.
Bye.